Regarding the short session, as it was acknowledged, we've been working on this for 3 years. This is not something that just came up right before session. This is something that's a continuation. And as I mentioned, it's a build. The current form is exactly, with the exception of a couple of technical fixes and changes, is what we passed off this floor last long session in Senate Bill 494. There's been some discussion as to there's too much power, and apparently because of the name, Advanced Directives Rule Adoption Committee, somehow needing to be advisory committee. It's my understanding the reason it has the term adoption committee because at one point the work that was being done previously was through the Oregon Health Authority, and that's how they were entitling their work group or their membership was through an adoption committee, and it was just carried forward in the name that's before us now. Now, there's another question, Mr. President, as to why aren't there legislators on this list of who would be the members. There are 13 members. I will go through that, but I'll tell you the short story is, when Senate Bill 1552, which was the first creation that went forward, or excuse me, the second creation of what went forward through the 2015 through the 2018 cycle, Senate Bill 1552 did in fact provide for 2 legislators, one from the Senate and one from the House. What we learned from the continued work of the work group was they thought that would make it more political. And that is exactly what we do not need in this process, is to have politicalness at the level of where the committee is doing their work. It should be noted that this committee, the Advanced Directive Rules Adoption Committee, is limited in their scope of work. And I will go through that as well. So first of all, the membership. The membership is in fact 13. The first one that has to be a member there is a member from the long-term care ombudsman or their designee. They're guaranteed to be on there. Also, the next 12 are appointed by the governor, and he or she in their capacity have to appoint the members that are listed on the bill on page 2, starting on lines 1 and going through down to line 21. They include representative primary health care providers, a representative hospitals, a representative health care facilities located in the state. 2 members need to be health care providers with expertise in hospice type care, and one who is employed by a hospital and one by another health care facility. One member is going to be a representative of individuals with disabilities, a member that would be representing consumers on healthcare services, a member who represents long care community, a member who has expertise in advising and assisting consumers with end-of-life decisions, a member from the state bar who is within the elder law and advising individuals on how to execute an advanced directive, a member from the state bar who is involved with the estate planning and advising individuals on how to make end-of-life decisions, and another member from the bar who has expertise in health care. Mr. President, as you've always said, what we should do, we should rely on those who are certified smart, and that is exactly what this blue ribbon membership of these 13 members will actually bring to the table. We do not need to have politics at this point. We can have the politics when they bring whatever proposals they bring forward to us, and then we have the duty, the absolute duty of introducing whatever proposals we want to adopt or amend of a current advanced directives into a bill that has to, again, be passed by both chambers and then signed by the governor. Lastly, on the mission, what the perspective is to adopt a form for advanced directives to be used in this state, and that the review of the form is not one that is reviewed at least once every 4 years. Except as provided for under the statutes. The form of the advanced directive adopted pursuant to this section is the only one that's valid in the state. And this gets back again to what has already been entered as an advanced directive that was effective and lawful at the time will still stay in existence, even though we may make changes for future forms that would be used in the future. There also has the minimum of what has to be within the form, and that's what the other 2 documents that I put on the desk, one that actually talks about the process, the checklist, and what you have to fill out in the form for appointing an advanced director, and also the instructions that are set forth in the process of how you do, in fact, operate under an advance directive. So, Mr. President, what I will tell you again at this time, this is time for us to move forward. It's been 25 years since we've seen any changes. Our advance directive currently needs to have some changes and modifications. That is what the temporary bill will do that's found within HB 4135. The committee will, in fact, have over 2 years to bring their first set of any recommended changes to us for us to consider and pass into law. Again, advance directive is voluntary. It's an option for those who want to use it. If you don't want it, don't use it. But for those who want to have it, we as a legislature have a duty and an obligation to ensure we have a farm that is reasonable, sensible, readable, and understandable, and that is what we have with House Bill 4135. Thank you, Mr. President.